A phone that weighs just 177 grams with an AMOLED screen, a 144 hertz refresh rate, Android 16, good battery life, and 4K recording on both the rear and selfie cameras, all for this price? Wow, I want one too. Today, let's talk about this awesome device that I've already unboxed. I also spent some time using the phone for playing various mobile games. I really pushed the device to its absolute limits for an hour and a half straight. Just imagine that. I tested some pretty competitive titles, really heavy games. I went out to take photos and videos, both during the day and at night. But today, I'm not here to just give you a detailed list of technical specifications. I'm here to tell you all about my personal, day-to-day experience using this device. So let's start with one of its most impressive and standout features, its incredibly sleek and modern design. The design is spectacular. I really liked it a lot. But I also have to thank the folks at Motorola for letting me test it out. And of course, thank you all for always tuning into this channel. Because look, here we have a really nice experience, especially whether you see it from far away or up close. Anyone will notice right away that we have a special edition. Yeah, for example, the FIFA 2026 edition. This really grabs a lot of attention, seriously. The gold details around the camera module, especially on the Motorola logo, and also the emblem of this collaboration really stand out. When sunlight hits it, it looks elegant, different, and it clearly doesn't look like a regular version. This unit weighs 177 grams and is 7.2 millimeters thick. It's a pretty slim, thin, lightweight phone, and it's comfortable to use. After a while, you really do get used to it. But we also have a very slight, elegant curve on the back and on the edges of the screen as well, which really gives the whole device a pretty stylish and premium feel. For protection, it offers Corning Gorilla Glass 7, and the screen has IP68 and IP69 resistance against water and dust. Plus, it has military certification. That doesn't mean it's indestructible, but it does give you more peace of mind for everyday use. Everything comes in the box, seriously. Motorola said, okay, I'm going to include a clear case here, a USB Type-C cable, and a 68-watt charger. And the case lets you keep showing off the design, although personally, I like to use it just as it is. It definitely looks better, no doubt about it. When it comes to the screen, this is one of its best features. This phone has a 6.78-inch AMOLED panel with high resolution and supports HDR10+ with really good brightness. It looks great in natural light. In real use, it looks excellent. The colors are vibrant, the blacks are deeper, and the bezels are very slim. This makes your videos, movies, or even fast-paced video games look really immersive and smooth. Within the system settings, you can see it is set at 120 Hz, but when you manually enter game mode in Moto Game Time, you can actually enable a high refresh rate of up to 144 Hz, provided that the specific game or title supports it, for example. This doesn't mean that all games will run at 144 FPS, because it will depend on navigation, animations, and how you move through the apps. It feels pretty smooth, just like it should in theory, and in practice too. I also had a really good experience with the software. It runs on Android 16 with a pretty clean custom interface, very close to the experience of a Google Pixel. The system is incredibly simple and intuitive to use, reacts with impressive speed, and you don't feel like it's loaded with completely redundant applications that, some users add. This custom interface is really clean. And come on, it has those classic gestures, the old school Motorola ones, like twisting to open the camera, shaking to turn on the flashlight. Seriously, it's got it all. I like this. The fingerprint reader is under the screen. It worked great throughout all my tests. We also have Face Unlock, which responds quickly. It includes NFC, quick share, screencasting, thin shield protection, and several Moto AI options. To be perfectly honest with you, the AI integration wasn't what really stood out as the most impressive feature. The thing that I truly appreciate and value the most is just how incredibly clean, remarkably smooth, and lightning fast the entire system feels. Now, let's talk about performance. This unit, especially for Latin America, which the folks at Motorola sent me by the way, uses the Snapdragon 7S General 3 with the Adreno 810 GPU. It's not a processor made to compete with an extreme gaming phone, but it offers really good performance for this category. With Moto Game Time, you can see comprehensive real-time data on frames per second, processor usage, GPU, RAM, and current temperature. We were also able to record the screen and activate high performance mode. This blew my mind, and I said it during the game test. Damn, I have always really wanted to see someone finally put that up on the big screen. And Motorola did it. I didn't even ask for it, but hey, that really delivered a good result. Let's talk about the gaming test. For example, I tried Once Human with a very demanding and high-end setup. It stayed close to 41 frames per second, and the experience was surprisingly smooth and consistent. In Call of Duty and PUBG Mobile, it reached about 90 FPS. In both cases, the response was exceptionally positive, with the gyroscope functioning absolutely flawlessly. In Free Fire, that game ran exceptionally smoothly, while FIFA Mobile, wow, stayed consistently around a solid 60 frames per second. In eFootball as well, the screen was really put to use, and we had full screen mode in those two games where you could feel a bit of the power, and it was like, okay, here I'm gonna hold back a little. It was in Fortnite though, where trying to play at 60 FPS with graphics caused some stuttering. Yeah, to get a stable experience, I had to keep the quality high but lower the frames per second a bit, meaning down to 30 FPS. With that adjustment, it was possible to play properly. You can see it on the screen. Then I pushed it even further. In Genshin Impact, using high graphics settings, I saw numbers close to 38, 40 FPS, just like in Weathering Waves. During the more demanding parts, it stayed around 29, 30 FPS. The maximum temperature it reached was about 43 degrees Celsius. It felt quite hot to the touch, but it didn't restart at all, it didn't close any of the games, and it didn't go above that ambient temperature. And here, we currently have between 23 and 25 degrees right here in Guatemala. If you happen to have a higher ambient temperature, I would definitely recommend using a dedicated gaming fan to wrap everything up. It's not a professional gaming phone, but it definitely allows you to play pretty much anything you want. Competitive titles are well optimized, they perform exceptionally well, and that's what genuinely impressed and surprised me about this phone. And now let's talk about the battery, which is an important point. Here we have a pretty satisfying result, because this one has 5,200 milliamp hours. Although in some countries, there's a version with up to 7,000 milliamp hours. That's why it's a good idea to check which version is being sold in each country, because at least here in Latin America, it's the 5,200 milliamp hour one. I started the test with the battery at 100% while playing. Okay. After 1 hour, there was still about 85% left. After playing nonstop for an hour and 32 minutes, it still had around 76%. That actually gives us a solid estimate of roughly 6 full hours of continuous, uninterrupted gameplay. Congratulations, 5,200 milliamp hours. Just imagine if you had 7,000. That would be a whole different league. Although it will depend on the game title, brightness, connection, whether it's Wi-Fi or mobile data, and the graphics settings used. Plus, we have fast charging, which is really appreciated. In the box, we get 68 watts. You hop in the shower and come back, and it's already fully charged. For sound, we have stereo speakers and Dolby Atmos technology. The volume is loud, the speakers sound clear, and the experience is great for games, music, and videos too. I noticed that the bottom speaker sounds a bit louder than the top one, but only if you really pay close attention. But honestly, it has excellent volume. So how about we go ahead and do a quick sound test right now? Coming up next on the program. Now let's quickly move on to the cameras. In total, we have four. With the rear camera, you can record in 4K resolution at 60 frames per second, while the selfie camera lets you record in 4K, but at 30 frames per second. But you can't judge a camera simply by looking at the technical specifications, so let's go straight to a comprehensive photo and video performance test, both during the bright day and at night, to see how it really performs. So let's check it out together. We get good results with the rear camera photos, with nice color reproduction, good dynamic range, and good tones. Photos in both normal and portrait mode turned out excellent. And if you notice, we also have an excellent color range there. Just like this photo, which is in normal mode. But now let's take one in portrait mode. Check out the result, with excellent blur and precise cutout around the hair and shoulder. Photos taken at close range, meaning the PDAF autofocus works really well, keeping the subject in the foreground sharply focused and the background nicely blurred. That means we can use it for marketing purposes, even to take pictures of a plant, a rose in the background, whatever you want. Seriously, we've put it to the test, and it's given us some really good results. Look here, what an excellent blurry background. And here too. Look, the result is perfect and the sun is shining directly on it. But what about macro mode photos? They're pretty average, nothing too remarkable, but it held up pretty well. Same goes for video recording, which is in 4K at 30 frames per second, but in macro mode. Here, there's even a bee that's dropping its nectar. Next, here we have ultra wide angle mode. Check out the result, it barely loses any detail. This is for paradise-like places, meaning where we have a lot more information to be able to take a photo in this range. And look at the result, it really stands out across the board. Meanwhile, with the selfie camera, look, we also get good results, 32 megapixels. Normal photo and portrait mode do a pretty good job. Even when, for example, there's something in the background and we use the blur mode, portrait mode handles it quite well, giving a nice cutout around the fingers, although it missed a little bit on the hair. But here we have another photo and it did a pretty good job. A nice blur effect, by the way. I also went out to the park where I took another kind of photos, this time with sunlight, and look at the detail. It's really good, by the way. A perfect score. Now, video recording in 4K at 30 frames per second holds up really well. It's very well stabilized. Look, here we're also recording with natural light, that is, in the sun. The result has also been quite satisfying. It barely moves at all. Now this is a recording, but in 4K at 60 frames per second on the rear camera. This one is in 4K at 60 frames per second. But you can see that we have excellent autofocus. This is perfect for people who want to create content for social media. And the stabilizer really is very good. I have to say, if you want to focus on some kind of object or use it for marketing purposes, it will definitely be very useful for you. Now the autofocus on plants also works really well. Look over here, now with the sun out. It's given a good result, by the way. Here we also have ultra wide mode. This is full HD at 1080 at 30 frames per second. When you're in a paradise-like place, for example in Antigua, Guatemala, Samut Champey, or in Tikal, Petén, you'll have the chance to make this kind of video. And it also offers us autofocus in ultra wide mode. Meanwhile, over here, we have dual view mode. This is full HD resolution at 1080 at 30 frames per second. This is perfect for when you attend a special event like a wedding, for example, or a live concert. You have the incredible opportunity to use the dual view camera to really get a high quality recording of the person you're watching. In night mode, the selfie camera has made a good leap, although here in portrait mode, it did pretty well. But when we applied portrait mode, I really liked it. I have to say, I like the portrait mode photo in night mode more than the normal mode. Yeah, there's a bit of noise in normal mode. The rear camera also holds up really well. We have artificial intelligence, and you can even see it in the sky. Look with great detail. With natural light, it looks pretty good, just like with artificial light. Perfect. Now, this is a recording with the selfie camera in 4K at 30 frames per second. It's normal, yes, there is a lot of noise, I have to say, but when we have plenty of artificial lighting, you can tell it does a good job. That's something to really appreciate from Motorola. And that's great. Now with the rear camera in 4K at 60 frames per second, there is definitely less noise. But let's be honest, we get better results with the rear camera because it has better pixels, even though pixels alone don't make all the difference. What really makes the difference is how well it executes both its software and hardware in every aspect. But still, it did quite well. When we have more lighting, meaning artificial light, the noise improves a lot. Although, to be fair, there is a significant amount of movement in the background, but we can still capture high-quality audio when there's minimal background noise and artificial light is on our side. We're back now. You were able to observe the performance results and draw your own conclusions, but for your typical day-to-day usage, watching multimedia content, using the cameras, and playing mobile games, it's very well balanced. Based on my personal experience using this device, it's a phone I definitely recommend, and it truly deserves to be at the very top of your consideration list. Let me know what you thought of this review, what your impressions were regarding the overall camera performance, especially in the gaming test, and I'll see you in the next video. In the comments section, I'll leave the gaming test for you, which I spent a lot of time testing, as well as the unboxing so you can see all its features and specifications. And once again, many thanks to the folks at Motorola Guatemala for letting me test it, and to all of you for always tuning in to this channel. Subscribe, it's free. Take care.